They want to make sure that they also want to make sure that you are admissible um, uh, to Canada, and then that all your travel documents and credentials are up to date and meet the requirement for you to be able to travel and come to Canada. So eligibility, that looks like having the letter of acceptance that I talked about earlier, provincial attestation, and recent transcript and certificate from, if you are, depending on the type of program that you're seeking, it could be your WIAC result. If you've just finished high school or secondary school and you're trying to get into university or college, so you have to have your WIAC result that also shows proficient English proficiency. So for students from Ghana, and for those of you who are also from Nigeria, you are, in most cases, most schools would not require you to do a separate English proficiency test, because the language of instruction in schools in Nigeria and Ghana is English, but you have to also be able to prove that. So they look at your WIAC result, and they will look at how you perform in your English language to determine whether or not you will be required for that. So I'm just using that as an example, as part of what they'll be looking for, what schools will be looking for in your transcript, in your credential for admission. But what the visa officer will be looking for, it's that the transcript that you're bringing and the admission that you have now, is there a correlation between the two? And if there's a gap, or there's a questionable gap between the program that you want to attend and the background that you have in terms of your education, your previous education or your previous certification, you have to be able to explain that. That's just, if you did business administration, for example, and you want to do a master's in maybe business analytics, there is a correlation there, but you still have to be able to explain that why you've decided to do that. And so once that is taken care of, we will support you with a submission letter. So by the work we do, we are allowed to write a submission on your behalf, and it's a legal submission that we will submit with your application to IRCC. And what that submission often looks like is just hearing your story and helping you to present your story to the visa officer in the language and the way that they want to see it. So we'll be using legal language. We'll be using, we'll be quoting acts and different scenarios to help strengthen your application. And then one important thing to also make sure it's that you have enough, you have a proof of financial support. So you're coming here for education, you have to be able to show that you have enough funds to pay for your tuition, your first and second year tuition, for example, and that you have enough funds to also spend for your own living expenses at least for the first year that you're in Canada. You have to be able to show all of that in funds that is liquid and ready to transfer. Yeah, so, and then your proof of tuition payment, I mentioned that earlier. You need to be able to also include that in your documents for your study permit application. And then another thing that they also look at is if you're admissible to the country. So just because you've gained admission into the school, you've paid your tuition, you have funds, and you think you have a passport, you think you're ready to go, that doesn't mean that you're actually admissible to Canada. So in Canada, so what the admissibility aspect of the work does is to do a background check on you. You want to make sure that you don't have any political affiliation with organizations that may not that Canada does not align with, and also want to make sure that you don't have any and that you also don't have severe health issues from where you're coming. So once all of that is taken care of, then we package your application, and then we help you to submit that to IRCC. So the next step is how we help. We help with the study permit application. We help with legal advice and representation. We help with a pre-arrival guide, and also port of entry support. And once you arrive here, we would also support you with settlement services if you need our support with that. So the one piece, so the port of entry support, for example, when you get to the airport, often you may encounter a CBSA officer who may ask you random questions that you may not necessarily be comfortable answering, or yeah, and in that type of situation, we can step in. You can, so what we do with your pre-arrival is we discuss with you, we let you understand what to expect at the airport, and access to our number. So if you get to the airport and you're being asked a question and you don't know how to properly answer, you can ask them to allow us to step in, and they'll give us a call, and we'll talk on your behalf to make sure that your entry into the country is as smooth as possible. The one exciting, the next step is it's an exciting aspect of the whole process. Earlier, I talked about financial resources and why that is important, and it's probably one of the most important aspects of your ability to be able to come to Canada to study. So we last week we talked about this, and I have a privilege of having Bobby Green with us today, who will be talking to us about Passage. So Passage is an incredible organization that is set to change the world. It's on a mission to give students and folks across the world access to life-changing opportunities. They're doing this the way they're doing this is matching international talent with, for example, labor shortages in Canada. So I'm just, and we've been working with Passage for a couple of months now, and I've been very thrilled, and I've been very humbled as well with their mission and what they hope to help students achieve. So I will pass this to Bobby, who is the Chief Growth Officer of the Passage, to talk more about Passage and what kind of program Passage brings to the table that would support your aspiration to study in Canada. Bobby, welcome on board.
Thank you so much for having me. Appreciate it, and great to see everyone. There's a decent amount to this, so if any questions, please feel free to just send them in the chat, and I'll try to address as we go. So let me take a step back and maybe explain who we are and kind of how we got here. So the core team at Passage was actually at this company called ApplyBoard before. It's the largest technology platform that helps students all over the world study abroad. We've helped something around 500,000, 700,000 students study in countries like Canada, the US, UK, Australia, Ireland. And when we were building that business, I was interviewing all of these customers from around the world, and I recognized constantly there were these incredible people that we couldn't help because they didn't have the money to study abroad. And the more we went on, we kind of fell in love with trying to solve that problem. There were so many incredible people and so many people that I think Canada would love to have brought over to study here. and we couldn't. And so we started going to banks, we started going to fintech companies, asking people to build the product in partnership with us. And after trying for almost 2 years, no one would do it. And so one day we just decided that if this problem was going to get solved, we were going to have to do it. But basically, what Passage is trying to do is by 2030, allow anybody anywhere in the world to access the money they need to go do bigger things in their life, whether it's education, whether immigration, or something else. So where we're starting is with study abroad financing for all students around the world coming into Canada, specifically for programs that we feel very confident that they're going to land a good job, a relevant job, and have the best chance to get PR afterwards. So if you look at what's happening today, most international students want to study one-year business programs and land good jobs in after they graduate. Passage has saw this happening over the last couple of years, and we realized that the market needed to be fixed. So the best jobs or the best opportunities to come into Canada today, if your intention is PR, is actually the types of jobs that Canada is really struggling to fill domestically today. Okay, those three main areas are across skilled trades. So, like a carpenter, a plumber, a machinist, healthcare. So we're talking nurses, dental hygienists, and things like this. And then STEM, so different kinds of engineering. So what Passage does is, number one, we select only programs that we vigorously make sure that they graduate international students into good jobs that have a high median income. Then we make sure that those jobs are the best jobs for the future PR categories. So even recently, there's been a lot of news about Canadian immigration, and the language is pretty clear that the government wants to align international student populations with the types of jobs that Canada is struggling to fill. And these are these trades, healthcare, and STEM jobs. So I think something that's useful to say is, when you're thinking about opportunities in a place like Canada, or even another country, if you're interested in that, you have to realize that the economies here work very differently than your home country. And so something like skilled trades, I think, is the biggest example. Think about what it's to be an electrician or a plumber or a tradesperson in their home country. But if you think about what it looks like in Canada, these jobs on average are being paid well above average income levels. So they're more highly paid. Depending on where you are, you can get paid over $100,000 a year. That's an extremely good salary anywhere, but in Canada, it's a very, very good salary. Anyways, the whole philosophy is to align jobs that Canada needs with what people want to be able to study. Why? Because it allows me to put the money forward and have confidence that you're going to get a good job and be able to repay me at the end of the day. In my sense, if you think about it, if I'm not good at making you successful, then my company is going to blow up. So I really have to make sure that you do well, otherwise I lose as well. So what do we do? Today, if you think about it, there's three application processes. There's the school process, the loan application, and the visa application. And we kind of combine the school application and the loan into one. This gives you better chances of getting LOA and faster LOAs because we're doing this all at one time. We provide the financing for the programs, and then we actually provide that proof of financial support document that allows us as a Canadian business with a Canadian bank account to tell Immigrations Canada that all of the money you need for your first year exists in a real bank account in Canada. This is a much better way to give them confidence that you actually do have the money. And as a result, you're going to have a much better chance of getting your study permit. Okay, I'll kind of pause there. I know that was maybe a lot, so please shoot questions my way. Happy to explain more in any specific area.
So if you have any questions, please don't feel shy. Do that now. You can also, yeah, drop your questions in the chat box if you don't want to talk.
I see Joel. Shoot away, Joel.
Yeah. So I wanted to ask about the money you said should be sitting in the bank at Canada. How is it supposed to be like real money or like some form of proof to show to them that you have this amount, but then it's not actually in the bank? I don't know. Can you go over that?
Yeah, exactly. So if you think about it from the government's perspective, like what are they actually trying to get through with this policy? They want to make sure that if someone comes into Canada, they have the money to support their own life while here so that they are not forced to rely on, our healthcare system, et cetera, et cetera. And so what they want is confidence that the money is actually real. So when you enter Canada, you'll be able to access the money to be able to afford things like rent and food and basic necessities. So if you're the government, it's natural to just have more confidence in the bank that you know, and maybe you use yourself, than a foreign bank that you've maybe never heard of, right? So it's basic human nature in that sense. And because Passage is a regulated business and we have the money in a regulated bank account, when I write the letter that you submit to immigration, it allows the person reviewing your application to feel really confident that the money is in fact there. And that just gives them peace of mind and confidence when reviewing your application. Happy to go into more of the specific mechanics, but basically we actually are giving you the full amount that you need for that first year. And so when we go to the government and say that the money is there, we will give the money to you once you arrive in Canada. That's kind of our agreement with the government. So they understand what we're doing and it aligns with what they care about.
Eva. Eva, do you have a question?
Good evening.
Yeah, hi, good evening.
Good evening. Please, I want to ask a question for a master's student that study electrical and electronics engineering. And I don't know what course will be suitable for me to do if I want to do my master's in Canada. I don't know the process or anything about traveling for master. Now, I would like to know and how to start.
Yeah, I think.
And I also saw something like opportunities, skill trade, healthcare, and STEM. I don't really understand it. I've been trying to read through. I don't get it.
Yeah. Okay. Let me try to break that down. That's a big question. So, for masters, let's touch on that first. So, if you want to study electrical engineering, there's two ways to think about it. If you just care about the material you're studying, you can find either the location in Canada you're interested in studying, whether you're trying to go to the best school in Canada, or a school that specializes in a specific area you're interested in. Say the difference between like circuit design and working on lasers, for example. There's kind of a bunch of different ways of how you could narrow down which schools and which programs you want to apply to. It's hard for me to give you an answer unless I know how you're thinking about it. One of the things that I usually recommend is to spend more time thinking about what opportunities exist in Canada after you graduate from a specific program. And so obviously Dowdy can help you maybe better than I can here, but there are also government sites like Job Bank Canada where you can research what jobs exist, how many of them exist, and the wages of those jobs across Canada. That's a good place to get familiar and think through what kind of opportunities are available after graduation. When I'm talking about the kinds of jobs, I mentioned skilled trades, healthcare, and STEM. So STEM would be the category you were talking about, right? Science, technology, engineering, math. So jobs like computer programming, computer scientists, data science, all of that stuff would fall under the STEM category. Healthcare, or think of all the jobs that you would be familiar with, like nurses and doctors and dentists and so on. That would be the healthcare grouping. And then the skilled trades, I believe you call them artisans. So everything from plumbers and electrician, and the people who manage utility services and technologies. Those are kind of what I mean when I say those three buckets. Again, happy to kind of go deeper if you have any more specific questions. So yeah, let me know if I answered your question.
So
Hello. Okay.
Sorry, before we take the next question, I have one here for you, Bobby. So what about accommodations? Does Passage sort that out through the loan?
Yeah, that's a great question. So obviously there's a whole bunch of things that you need to do to study abroad. And as much as I would love to solve all of the problems all along the way, we have to start small and make sure we do one thing really right and then expand over time. The way that we're building our technology allows us to easily work and integrate other services, like other businesses that do focus on accommodation or focus on helping you get a job after school, or helping you focus on how do you finance your first car. All of these kinds of things, Passage will be able to add and work with awesome people to deliver you the best quality services on. Right now, we do not. I have strong recommendations if you want help with accommodations. But we don't do that today. We offer the loan and the application services.
Thanks for that.
Hello.
The next hand up, it's Daniel.
Hello.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Hey, Daniel.
Yeah. Hi, Bobby. Good day. Okay, I have a couple of questions. First of all, as a software engineer, I want to know the chances I have in the labor market in Canada or whatever country I probably will be ending up at the end of the day. I have about half a decade of experience in software engineering and software development, because in a couple of programming languages like JavaScript and Python. So with that kind of portfolio, what are my chances as an immigrant in Canada, for example? So I have another question if you would like me to go ahead and list out all the questions first.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, shoot, I have a good answer to the first one. So if you have your second, feel free.
Okay. So how would you treat an individual who's probably already enrolled for a bachelor's degree? Because personally, I am enrolled for a computer science degree, distance learning program in the US, University of the People. I don't know if you know, based in California. So does that impact the immigration process in any way? I'd like to know. And also, it would be naive to think that since you will be providing financial aid, I on my part would not need to spend a whole lot of funds to arrange for things on my end. So is there an idea of how much one should be looking at in terms of financing a couple of things on the end, and what are the things that need to be done from my end as a potential immigrant to make the process easier and possible? Thank you.
All great questions. I'll take a shot and then doubt it if you want to follow up and answer anything that I missed. So just to start off, I focus on Canada. So the specifics of the job markets in California, I know a little bit about, particularly around Silicon Valley and where technology businesses are built. So I have some advice there. In general, what I think the best thing that translates for the American and Canadian job market as far as getting a job in technology, in startups, in software development, is actual proof of coding. So you want to have projects in your GitHub repo. You want to be working on open source projects. This way, it's very easy for anyone to look at the code you've written and see if it matches with what style and the way that they work at whatever company you're going to look at applying to. By far, this is what I hear all the time from CTOs and other people hiring software developers. So I'm not sure how much you're spending time doing that kind of stuff, but would suggest you take a look at it while you're doing it. In general, when I'm talking about what's the prospects for a newcomer in Canada to get a job? Canada, its culture is priding itself on integrating and using the awesome talents of people all over the world to help build Canada to be better. So you don't have much to worry about there. Almost the majority of people in Canada now have come from another country. So everyone is kind of in a similar boat, and you won't find too hard of a problem and kind of getting adjusted and feeling like, you know, you're on the same par as everybody else. If you're in a bachelor program in the US, I don't know how much I will be able to help you. We focus on programs in Canada. So maybe you can get my email and we can ping on offline, and I can see if I can connect you with anyone else that might be able to help on the financing side. But I'm sorry, but right now we can do Canada only. I think I covered all three, and that will let me throw the mic to you. Anything that I missed, feel free to fill in there.
Yeah, I think he also mentioned about if you were coming to Canada, what would be your investment in terms of in your investment in the loan? Is that my understanding of your last question, Daniel, right?
Yeah. So from my end, I'm sure I'm going to have to incur some expenses
That's right.
in order to make it possible. So like, what are we looking at? Like, is there a like what are the things that would need to be done on my end to make this possible and easy?
Yeah. So specifically for passage loans, the way that we do it is we require. Oh, someone's got.
Can you please mute yourself? Can you mute that? Okay.
Awesome. Yeah. So for passage, the way that our loans work is we require the student to put up some of their own cash as collateral. This is super important because it allows us to reduce fraud. And basically, over time, we help the government show that in places where there are higher fraud, there are still a lot of amazing, legitimate students. And over time, I want to make it so that things like the visa acceptance rates of countries like Nigeria and Ghana and Uganda and so on are much higher than they are today. And so part of the way that you do that is you have to show trust in that you're able to find the people who are genuine students versus the people who are trying to take advantage of the system. So what does that mean? It means you need, depending on the program, a certain amount of money as cash collateral. So that's kind of what is reasonable. What happens is most students
how many do you have remaining here now? Out of these 10,000,
and they work part-time while they're in school so that they can save partially for their second year or third year living expenses, or they start paying down their loan earlier so they pay less overall interest payments.
I'm so sorry, I didn't get that last part. I felt like it was very important.
No worries. So the loan plus your cash collateral covers your first year, okay? What most students do, probably about 85%, is they work part-time while they're in school. They do this for a couple of reasons. Number one, they're using it to save for their second year living costs, or they're using it to pay down their loan earlier. So if you make your payments earlier, you pay less overall on the loan because there's less amount that interest is applied to. So it's in your best interest that if you can earn some more money while you're in school, you can pay off the loan much faster. That's kind of 85-ish% of what people are doing today.
Okay, so
Does that make sense?
ballpark. Yeah, it does. Ballpark, how much are we looking at from my end to show enough commitment?
For a master's degree, like the answer is not an easy one because there's a huge variation depending on the length of the program, the school, and the type of program. So if you were coming looking for a four-year bachelor degree, a four-year bachelor degree is not something I can help with today. I won't go into the details, but it's really, really hard to structure a loan that isn't too expensive. Because you would be in school for 4 years, it means that a whole bunch of stuff happens on my end that makes it very hard for me to give a good product. So we're sticking to 2-year programs and under for now. And then within the next year or two, we'll open it up to 4-year bachelor programs.
So presently, you guys are taking masters and probably associate degree programs, right?
Exactly, yeah. Diplomas, post-grad cert programs, and technical engineering master's programs.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you very much.
Thank you for the question.
Eva.
Hello.
Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, we can hear
Can
you.
you hear me?
Yes.
Can you
Please, I
hear
want to
Eva?
ask one. Can I ask a question?
Sorry,
Can you hear Eva?
let Eva go first and then you go next. Whoever that is.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, this is Eva. Please, I'd like to find out concerning what you just explained about the financial support. If I am clear, it means that they can only support those who are going for postgraduate, right?
Correct.
Okay. I want to go for an engineering program, undergrad. And I would like to find out, because I keep hearing senior high school certificate. What of those of us who have WAEC advanced business certificate? Can we also use that to apply?
That's a good question. I believe it's specific to the engineering program. So I think it would be unlikely if you were trying to apply for schools like the University of Toronto or the University of Waterloo. But my understanding is that other universities like Carleton or Dalhousie, they might accept those kinds of programs. And usually they require just higher grades in math, physics, computer science, like those kinds of high school equivalent courses. But yeah, I don't know, Dada, if you have more specific info there.
Yeah,
Okay.
and to Bobby's point, it depends on the school and the program. So what often happens is you can check with us and our team will help you navigate that and help you pull what you specifically need to have to be able to qualify for a program, and then we can help you navigate that as well. Okay.
Okay. Then concerning the age, for instance, I am 40 plus. With that one too, can I apply?
Yeah, there's no age restriction.
Okay.
Dada can speak more to this. I think it depends on what you're trying to do after. The age mostly matters in your application for permanent residency if you intend to stay in Canada. It doesn't make it impossible by any means, but it does make it harder. But as far as your study permit, you can apply still.
Okay, because in my case, I work with an institution that deals with engineering, and they want me to go for a specialized program in technology. And I would like to do that course in Canada. So the institution is willing to fund it and support me as well. But we are looking at the best possible way to be able to get the study permit and also the visa. That is why I intend to use your agency to help in that way. That's why I'm asking about the age. Besides that, I've been working with that same qualification. That's a professional certificate, working with that for about 15 years now. So I don't know whether that one can also help with my study permit application.
Yeah, and the way you just explained this, it's something that we can take off here, and I think you have
like
a very
take precautions. Like take precautions.
Sorry, can you please mute that? Okay, thanks. Yeah. So we'll take this off, and I will connect with you after, but we can definitely work with you to help you secure your study permit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. I think we have one more. Kafayat, can you go ahead?
Good evening.
Hi, good evening.
Yeah, I'm from Nigeria. I have 2 questions to ask. The first one is, while applying for Canada schools, we are asked to submit our transcripts, both official and unofficial transcripts. Is it necessary for us to submit through WES? And
Mhm.
the second
So-
one is, the second one is how can we increase our chances of getting a scholarship, both for an undergraduate and postgraduate program?
So, okay, go ahead,
yeah.
Bobby.
No, I was going to say, I think this is more of your world, Dada.
So the first question about West, you don't need West to certify your certificate for an undergraduate or graduate program in Canada. We can help you navigate that if you have any issues. In terms of what was your second question? Your second question was about
I was talking about what are the things we need to do to get a scholarship over there?
scholarship. Yeah, so different schools have different types of scholarships for students, for international students. It's my organization. We don't have expertise in helping you to navigate the scholarship space. But what we can do is we do have partners and organizations that we collaborate with. We can hook you up with them, and they can help you to navigate that. So that's a whole process on its own as well.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome. I think, Joseph, your question here is, what diseases disqualify someone from becoming inadmissible in Canada? It all depends on different types of. There's a whole categories of health issues that may not allow you to be able to come to Canada, and those are listed on, I believe some of them, or if not all, are listed on the IRCC website. So if you need to connect on that, we can discuss that as well with you in future.
So I think we have Solomon.
Hello. Hi.
One question.
Yeah, Solomon.
Please, I want to ask. Okay. Can I say something? I want to ask a question. Can I go on?
I have Solomon here, and when he's done, I can have you. No problem.
Okay, good afternoon. Well, thank you for your time in this training. Please, I would like to find out, what about students who are already in Canada? Probably they've done a one-year program, probably in one or two courses, but now they want to navigate to tech or health. For the fact that they're already in Canada, would that, what advantage would that be for them? Do you accept such students? And also, if they want to continue in the same school or probably get a school for themselves, would that be allowed? Since they're already in Canada, then what advantage would that be? What and what can that make up of such students?
Solomon, that's a really good question. We look at those cases on a case-by-case basis. Our specialty is trying to focus on helping access to people who are currently not in Canada. But I will make sure that you get access to my email afterwards, and you can reach out and I'll personally try to see if I can help.
Yeah, Olateju, yes, you can have a one-on-one talk with us after. After this, there's going to be a QR code at the end that you can use to complete our initial assessment, and we will follow up with you on one-on-one and take it from there. Agricultural economics and agribusiness. Sorry, Omolara, I don't understand the question about agri-economics and agribusiness. Do you mind explaining what you're trying to ask? And the next question I have here, it's about how do you start. At the end of this program, we'll be reaching out to all of you with a link to start exploring the opportunities that are available at Passage's website, if you're interested in moving forward with this, and we can also support you through the application process. Okay. Master's program in agricultural economics. Bobby, would that be part of the program at this point? I don't see that on the.
It's not, unfortunately, no. So we have about 100 programs total, and mostly around core STEM. So electrical engineering, computer science, things like that. We'll link to the specific product, and you can see all of the programs that the loan is applied to. And you can look through, and if there's any that are interesting, then we can definitely help you with any of those.
How much do I need to start? Yeah.
Hello.
So can I quickly answer this question? Dawood Zainab is asking how much she needs to start. Again, to Bobby's earlier point, it varies by the program and the length of the program and all that. So at the end of this this session, we will be connecting with all of you with the link to explore the website and explore the programs that you would be interested in. And it's very, very simple to navigate. And if you have questions or you come across some complexities around trying to navigate it, we can support you through that. But again, how much will be required of you in terms of collateral will depend on the length of your program and other factors. Yeah, who was trying to ask the question? Edith, please go ahead. Edith? Okay.
I see one more question from Edith. I've also tried to been answering questions in chat as much as I can. Maybe let's let Edith, and then I will try to answer a couple more questions, and then we'll see where we're at.
Yeah. While we wait, there were some questions that were left behind. There was a question about if there is any loan offer for masters in business analytics.
Sorry, we can't hear you. Okay. Can you repeat the question again, please?
Does the loan cover masters in business analytics?
The specific programs we'll link to, and you can see all of the courses that it does work for. There's, yeah, as I mentioned, there's about 100. I don't remember the exact names of all of them. We definitely cover similar areas for the schools we do cover. So definitely take a look.
Okay, so there was also another question that says, are you trying to imply that Passage is going to pay all the tuition of students and also represent the students in terms of proof of fund?
The short answer is yes. That's exactly what we do. The whole point is that the main blocker from the study permit perspective is that the government doesn't believe that you have the money to support yourself while in Canada. So the whole way our product is structured is to give you the best possible chance of getting a yes when you submit your study permit. So we make sure that the total amount that the government wants to feel confident that you will have is in fact the amount that we vouch for. So yeah.
So there was also another question. Will you be the one to look for schools for us? Or what if someone already has an offer? Can you help in paying? Can such person apply for the loan?
It depends if you have an LOA from a program that we offer. if you got an LOA from a program that we don't offer, then I unfortunately cannot give you a loan for that program. Why? Again, the way that we do it is I want to make sure that anyone takes a passage loan or works with, I want to have 100% confidence that if they do well in school and work hard, that there will be a good job and a relevant job for them after graduation. We have to kind of unlock that step by step because it takes a lot of work to do the analysis to make sure that the program is really high quality. So if you think about it, we are like someone who curates the best programs. Now, it doesn't mean that if a program isn't on Passage, it doesn't mean that it's a bad program. It just means that we haven't been able to validate that it's a good program. So there are a ton of programs out there that will be good that we don't offer yet. But what I'm saying is that if you see a program that is on Passage, it has been rigorously vetted so that it's a really good program that's going to lead to a good job after school. I hope that makes sense.
Hello.
Hi
Hello.
there.
Yeah,
Hi.
please, I want to know for someone like me that is a novice, I don't have any idea about schooling abroad, or I don't even know how to start, or what to do, how to do it, or how to go about it. So is there any public agent or something that will put someone through on how to go about everything? Because I don't know anything about schooling outside and all. I can't even do it myself. I can't even start anything on my own. So
Yeah.
I want maybe there's someone that is going to put me through all the system, technology-wise, all those things, wise and all. So
Thank
I
you
don't
so much
know.
for thank you so much for asking that question, Zainab. You can use the QR code on the screen to scan and do the computer assessment form. And just so you know, Worldbridge can support you through that. We have staff in Ghana who understand, they're on ground, they understand the culture, they're part of the culture. They can support you through that. We have staff in Nigeria who are on ground, who understand the culture, they will help you. And you will be at the same time zone with them. So wherever you're calling from, we do have someone that will be able to support you through the application process. And you will have access if you are going with the passage option. We will send you the access to be able to navigate through the platform itself. And if you have issues navigating through the platform, we'll be there to support you through that process as well. Okay, so you will not be left alone.
Okay, I'm from Nigeria. So
yeah. So
okay, so
like I
that's
said,
a form.
Sorry, was that?
I said you're talking about a form or something. I don't know. Application, or what do you say? Access form.
Yeah, I said if you look on your screen now, you will see the assessment for the QR code for the assessment form. You can scan that and just complete the assessment form, and we will quickly get back to you within the next 24 to 48 hours, and we'll help you through the next steps. If you can't scan the QR code, I believe there are links. Links have been shared in the chat box as well. You can click on the link and use that to get started. Okay.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
There were more questions. We have someone ask
So how about we do this? We'll take one last question. And
Okay.
just so everybody knows, this is a weekly series. We will be running this again next week. I'm not sure Bobby will be here, but we'll be running a similar question. And what I would also do is we'll collect all your questions today and make sure that we get answers to all the questions and share those with you. I will share them with you either individually or through the platforms, or at the or at next week's session. So yeah, so we'll take one more last question if you don't mind.
Edith, you have a question, right?
I'm not sure the person is here. Do you have another question somewhere that you would like to read to
Yeah,
us?
question about the interest rates on the loan.
Yeah. the APR on our loans are 10.5%.
Hello.
Hi, Edith.
Hello. Yeah. I asked a question. Can you hear me?
Yes, we're hearing you.
Yeah, I asked a question that I read accounting. So, but I'm interested in health. Can I navigate to that?
Absolutely. Yeah, if you select any program on the Passage platform, we will be glad to help you get accepted and pay for that course.
Okay. Okay.
Which would increase your chance of getting your study permit. Yeah, you have a high chance of getting your study permit.
Okay. Okay. Currently, I'm from Nigeria. Currently, I'm studying healthcare assistant program in Nigeria, which will end in 3 months' time now.
Perfect. So now is the time for you to start. Just so you know, the for September admission, for September intake, the admission process has already started in schools, in our different schools. So now is the time for you to start. I know you still have 3 months to finish your current program, but by the time everything is done, it will just be in time for your September intake.
Okay, so what are do you have specific school, or I should just, although I applied in Kunstoga, I got an admission for September intake for personal support worker, but I haven't paid my tuition fee.
Yeah, so what I would suggest is you can reach out to us and we can take that one-on-one and help you navigate through the best options for you. But the Passage option is a very good one for you. And it's one that we can, yeah, if you scan the assessment form,
Okay.
the QR code, fill the assessment form, and you can just in the notes, in the space for notes, just give a brief explanation of what you just mentioned now, and we'll make sure to follow up with you a one-on-one to help you navigate the next steps.
Okay. Okay. All right. Thanks.
You're welcome.
You're very welcome.
Okay.
So this brings us to the end of the session today. Thank you so much. Thank you all for taking the time to spend this hour with us. And thanks for those of you who joined who joined from Ghana, from Nigeria, from wherever you have joined us. And thanks a lot to Bobby for joining us today and for enriching our knowledge with this incredible opportunity that Passage is providing. So for those of you who may not join us next week, I wish you all the very best. Just make sure you complete the assessment form so we can reach out to you and stay in touch with you and help you navigate the next steps. Again, like I said, we'll be at this space again next week. We'll be focusing mostly on folks from Nigeria and South Africa next week. But everyone is also welcome to be part of the session. Thank you and have a very good evening, good day, wherever you are. Bye
Thanks,
now.
everybody. Appreciate the time.
Okay. Thank you very much, Bonnie. Thanks.
You're so welcome.
Thank you very much. Bye.
Thank you very much.
You're all welcome. So thank you so much for listening. I hope I was helpful.
Yeah.
Right. So I've already got the admission. So is this good? I've already got an admission in Student College, September intake, and currently I'm studying a health-related course in Nigeria, which will end by March. So